Hi, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Another crisp fall morning out there. Okay, shall we get started? First of all, fully calibrated. 7.6 is the blood sugar, which actually is kind of a bit of a lie. It's not a lie. Finger poke says 8, so 7.6 is within 10%. Pretty solid night. I slept. I remember turning the lights out, and I didn't last for long. Oh, it was a good night's sleep. It was pretty constant since 10, and I just went into a nice, solid sleep. It's so nice waking up at a nice, even blood sugar. Okay. Time and range. Looking good. Again, let's just review it. And this is for the last 24 hours. 90%, 96% time and range, which means since there's no below 3.9, that 4% is time and range, which means 7.5% is the average sugar. Pretty damn good day. It's a win. Today I want to talk to you about how my mom saved my life. We'll be right back. Come on back. This channel is provided for informational purposes only. Contact your physician for any diagnostic or treatment plan. Back in the fall, pretty much, about a year ago, October 7th, 1977, the day that will live in infamy. But we had a good summer. We were up at our cottage. It was all pretty good. I saw my cousins and everything was hunky-dory. I started a new high school, and I'm in the process of writing my memoirs as a diabetic. It's nothing spectacular. It's never going to be published, but it's my time. And in that time, I write that September 1977, it's probably, I will say, September 5th, I went to school. First day of school. First day in a brand new school. You know, the freshmen, and there were 4 other years from my own. I had, at that time I was envisioning 5 years at that school. I go in, and I was a fat kid. There was a time I had slendered down, but I was a fat kid, and I still am a big guy, but I'm a fat kid. This was grade 7 or 8. 7 and 8, I was really big. Star Wars had come out. The first movie ever made of Star Wars came out. And I had this really snazzy shirt. It was a red Star Wars with yellow writing on it. And I wore it to school, and I was bursting out of this thing. But I wore it. I got kid a bit, but I was used to that anyway. I graduated high school. That's the important thing. Things changed in those 5 years for me. But throughout that month, I started getting very tired. And then I started to drink. I can remember sitting in class at first, waiting for the bell to ring. And then I'd go out and I'd drink water. And I was drinking water, and I didn't say anything to my family. I would be drinking water and water and water. This one night, my mother was going out to bingo every Tuesday night. Yeah, no, she went out to bingo. When she left, I was standing at the counter and I was drinking water. In Vancouver, we had good running water. Good in October, the fall. It was cold, it was good, and I was drinking water. She went out with her friends and my aunt and played bingo. They came home, and I was still sitting there drinking water. And I said good night to my mother, and I went to bed. I was woken up at 10:30. Now, you have to remember, my mom, I guess, was up all night, or I had woken her a couple of times during the night having to go to the bathroom. And I went probably about 5 or 6 times that night. And people would say, well, you were drinking an awful lot of water. That's what I was thinking. I didn't clue in. I just thought, okay, life has changed, you know? I didn't think anything of it. But she woke me up and she said, you have a doctor's appointment. And I was kind of like, what? I didn't have a doctor's appointment when I went to bed. So I had to get dressed. I got ready within half an hour. We went to my doctor's. We had to take a urine sample, and I can remember we took a urine sample. He tested it, and he said, oh, there's a few ketones present. But that could be from weight loss, so. And he sent me off for blood tests. Blood tests that would change my life. Actually, I think there were 3 blood tests. I had to go for a fasting blood test, so I wasn't able to eat. After the fasting, we went out to breakfast, and I was told to have a big breakfast. So being the young juvenile I was, I did it. And so I had the dessert or the breakfast, and then about an hour after, I had to go get another blood test. And then went to school for the afternoon classes, got picked up at school, and headed to the lab again and got my third test. And they said, "Oh, we'll call you the next day." Well, my mom, when I came home for lunch, we lived close enough to the high school that I could come home for lunch. And she called the doctor, and the doctor said, "Oh, I don't see anything as of yet, but I really wouldn't think there's too much with it, or they would have called right away." So I'm thinking, great, I don't have diabetes. I kind of knew what diabetes was, but we went off back to school. I finished the school, came back, and was sat down and said that I have diabetes. I was kind of like, okay. It wasn't a big shock to me. And maybe things like that kind of rolled off. I never had that crushing blow that I had diabetes. But over the next 2 days, my mom really started to notice that I was losing an awful lot of weight. She even called the doctor before. They had made arrangements that I had to go to the hospital. And we went. She called the doctor, and the doctor said, well, it's because he's sick. So that was the beginning of my life-changing time as a diabetic. But if it wasn't for my mom, I could have gotten very sick very quickly. While I don't think I was in full-blown DKA, I think I was very close. In fact, I wouldn't realize how sick you could get from a high blood sugar till later in my life, in my time as a diabetic. So parents, if you have any inkling, if your son or daughter is drinking water, getting up all night to go to the bathroom, losing weight, get them tested. At least take them to the doctor and just rule out diabetes. It would be great if every kid could get a blood test at the beginning of puberty. To this day, I am thankful to my mother for being keen-witted enough that got me in to see the doctor. Took me to make sure I got the test done and drove me to the hospital. For me, it wasn't a drastic thing. I thought it was more like an adventure. Sure, the thought in my mind, oh, I won't be able to have sugar again. But I guess it was also sort of at that age where, okay, it's not such a big crisis, but everyone's different. So your son or daughter may react differently, but it's something we can live with. So, I have a question for you. And I'd like it, write in the comments, write me a comment. What made you go to the hospital? Was it a parent? Was it yourself? Were you in college? Were you in high school? Just give us a blurb. Maybe one day I'll share the stories completely anonymous. So stay tuned for the next riveting installment tomorrow. And I want to thank you for watching. Have a great day, and thank you to my subscribers. Have a great day, and we'll talk later. Bye. My email is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com.